How we doing, everybody? This is Parker, Bell, and Cody Lou. We are bringing a special off-season edition of the Blue Review, and this is going to be your first
The
first
first Blue
episode of Blue Review.
Review. This is like the long-awaited debut. I know, Greg, you and I have talked about, just doing stuff over the off season, but there wasn't much going on until the last, week and a half, like last week and a half. So, I mean,
We
it's
got we
cool
got
to
a
be
lot to
here.
get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. We were always thinking of adding you on just because of your experience with covering Dodgers. So we're excited to cover this. If you don't know, Cody Lou is one of our additions over at ESPN LA. I mean, I guess you can call him fun and games department for
Yeah.
some of you that we know of, but he does other things on the content side as well. So it's going to be fun getting to know Cody. And if you don't know me, I'm with the fun and games department as well. Uh, you always hear us being shouted out on the radio.
Yeah.
So without further ado, man, let's just get right into this. Of course, before we do, the Blue Review is always presented by LAX. And over at LAX, the Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to reduce traffic, save guests time, and transform the travel experience. And you can find more out, Cody, at flylax.com/transforming LAX. So,
Home away from
we love
home.
LAX. That's right. Home away from home. They get us where we need to be, like Vegas and Columbus.
Yes, exactly. Just a few days ago.
Just a few
Parker,
days ago. Let's
Christmas
hear
came
it.
early. Christmas came early. Whatever you celebrate for the holiday, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a Dodger. I didn't think it would happen, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be a Yankee. I honestly thought he was going to be a Yankee. But he's a Dodger, and this is like I don't even know how to describe this. This is like the off season of ages for all Dodger fans. And would say for the MLB in general. I can't think of a time, maybe outside of probably Manny coming to LA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know if there's ever been a bigger off season for the MLB. You got Shohei and you got Yamamoto, and then there's obviously there's going to be more moves to come. So
That I think is the caveat. It's like when you say it's the biggest possibly off season around. I mean, you could look back way back, at the days when guys like Reggie Jackson or the big names, the Hall of Famer names, moved teams and maybe they added some other players. But this has a different feeling to it because of, the contract
yeah,
situation with Shohei and the fact that the Dodgers just aren't done yet.
yeah, I think
The fact that they're not done, like we know they're not done, and there's still big fish in the free agent market. I think that's what makes this such an insane offseason, and the allure around it is still there. Like there's fans who aren't baseball fans who are like, "Ooh, what are the Dodgers doing?"
yeah.
So I think you put it best. It's the holidays came early. It's the season of
How
of, of giving, and here we are.
I don't think I can't honestly think of a time where there's a team that has gotten the best player in free agency and arguably the best pitcher in free agency. It's pretty rare. I mean, what was it? $1.1 billion on all three,
Just
like Glassnow, Yamamoto, and I think if you accumulate, I think with Glassnow's extension, it's like 1.125 or something like that,
uh-huh.
like $1 billion. And the crazy thing is, like, they'll make it back. Like it's not like they're spending all
Oh,
this money and they'll make it back. Like I don't know in how many seasons. I don't know the revenue behind that, but it's not like the Dodgers are gonna go broke or something like that. They're gonna make it
mhm.
back with all the money that they're gonna generate from these three players.
No, you're right. And I guess we can recap real quick. So if you were living under a rock and you did happen to miss all of this news, we don't judge you. We're here to help. So basically, as of just December, all of this started to go down. So if you look at it, Dodgers on the 11th of December, and today we're recording on the 22nd. So it's almost Christmas. We got the news of Yamamoto last night. That's why we're recording this episode. But to just recap what's gone down in December. Of course, they re-signed Joe Kelly, which was really nice. They kind of needed that spark, that guy with a little oomph on his back.
Yep.
So it was cool to have Joe Kelly back, and that also led to. It's not the reason why. I mean, we're not going to go as far as to say that Joe Kelly's the reason why Shohei's here, but one of the coolest moments on social media is when Joe and his wife did the whole,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm number 17, but you can have it, Shohei." And then like the next day, literally Shohei signs. So on the 11th, Shohei signed, which was amazing. And then they went ahead and got uh, they made what you could call a blockbuster deal,
Yeah.
really, on the 16th for Tyler Glass and Manuel Margot from the Tampa Bay Rays. Uh, and to get them, they gave up Ryan Pepio, who was showing some promise, and then outfielder Johnny DeLuca. So you could say it was tough to lose Pepio just because of the upside that he had. But at the same time, what you got in return definitely makes up tenfold because you want to win now and you got that experience, that veteran experience. So they did that on December 16th. And then today, well, I guess the news broke last night, but as of last night, they got the possibly greatest Japanese pitcher of all time. I mean, he won the equivalent of the Japanese Cy Young three times in a
This
row,
Sawamura,
right?
I think he has like three.
Yeah,
Yeah, he it's like their version of the Cy Young Award 3 times. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I mean, I've seen pictures, I've seen his social media of just like his, what do you want to call it? Like his just awards and his little like shelf, and it's just insane that you're getting someone of that pedigree at that age. I mean, he's
he's
still so
only
young.
he's 25. I think
25.
I think when you look at the average age for players that are coming from the MPB, they're usually, I don't know what the average age is, but he's like younger than the usual, like the average age, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we are seeing a trend. The age is dropping a little bit, but when you look back just in history, the Hidekis and
Mm-hmm.
still, yeah, at that age and that pedigree, the amount of awards and um, I mean, even his ERA last year, just
1.21,
ridiculous,
169
ridiculous.
strikeouts. I think his career ERA there was 1.82, so it's like a sub 2 ERA. Like that's absurd, and you're pretty much,
Yeah.
and that was the whole big thing, right? In the offseason or throughout the season was how are the Dodgers going to fix their pitching? They're on their
Hmm.
way there, right? They're on their way there. They got a bunch of frontline starters, and I was listening. Just to get back to Yamamoto real quick, 1.21 ERA last season, 169 strikeouts. He's a three-time Sawamura Award winner, which is their version of the Cy Young. They've got an ace, a potential ace in their pocket. The Dodgers just might have just gotten a potential ace. He definitely got paid like an ace. I'll tell you that. 12 years, 325 million, and I think like a $50 million posting fee on top of that. So,
Posting fee, yeah. So about
so there's
375.
he's getting paid like an ace, and let's hope that he is an ace for the sake of that contract. But I did hear you guys talk about it yesterday, and I kind of want to dive into it just a tiny bit. Clay Kershaw, is this
Oh,
a,
here we are. Yeah.
like they have Glass now they have Yamamoto, they just got or they're gonna get Walker Buehler back at some point, right? They still have Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan's still
Hmm.
there. I think I think no matter what, I think if Kershaw wants to come back, he's going to come back. I think it's that legacy thing with the Dodgers where the door will always be open for Kershaw. And I think if Kershaw wants to come back, they will offer him like um, free reign to come back. And the good thing about it is, I think, like what you and Greg were talking about last night, was they don't expect him to be back until way later in the season, which is, I would
Yeah.
say, a good thing, right? It's almost like a shoe in at this point that Kirsch is going to go down with an IL stint at some point in the season, and you'd rather save him for the postseason, right? If you can get him in the regular, like in the form that he's in like May or June, in September and October, I think
Hmm.
that's the perfect situation for Kershaw, and I think it's the perfect situation for the Dodgers, right? Can you imagine a Glass, Walker Bueller, Yamamoto, Kershaw, and then let's just say Bobby Miller somehow emerges as
Bobby.
like
Yeah.
this big time frontline starter? This is a loaded starting rotation. It's loaded, and I don't know if they're done yet. That's the crazy thing.
No, exactly. We don't know if they're done yet. I mean, they can still make trades. Like you still have valuable pieces like Sheehan or younger guys like Grove. I mean, it's the Dodgers are set up so perfectly
Yeah,
for a title run,
yeah.
and not just this year, but in the years to come. But to your point with Kershaw, I think you make a great point, and I remember that Travis Rogers. For those of you who are tuning into Blue Review and don't know what ESPN LA is, Travis Rogers of the morning show with Travis and Sliwa, he kind of had that idea early on in this season when we started to see Shohei have it. Kersh having these shoulder issues. Travis was saying, like, what if he started to go that route of, hey, maybe we just shut it down that first half of the season and then we
Yeah,
come in so that he starts ramping up and getting hot towards the playoffs, like you mentioned.
yeah.
And that would be scary. Seeing
It
that lineup, Yoshinobu, and then Shohei in 2025. I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to get too excited, but ooh,
I
ooh.
it's crazy to think that that's possibly like, yeah, and like the worst case scenario, right? And knock on wood and everything like that. Worst case scenario is that Kershaw's not going to pitch this season. All right, he's going to come back next season, with the Dodgers, hopefully, and that is
Yeah.
like that's an even crazier lineup: Shohei, Kersh, Bobby Miller, Yamamoto, Glass. Now, I mean, that's like it's a dream. You can't even do that on like what MLB The Show. Like you can't even like. I don't think it's possible for you to create that lineup. I don't think like they're gonna say like the trade is invalid. Like you can't even do that. Like get all these pieces. But another thing I wanted to get to, P Bell, right before we get out of here, the Dodgers, like we said, the Dodgers aren't done yet. I think there's still a few pieces, and it's crazy to think that. Like it's unfair to think that the Dodgers aren't done yet, especially for all the MLB fan bases out there. They're like, "You're not
Mm-hmm.
done yet? What do you mean you're not done yet?" Like, yeah, I still think there's still moves to be made out there for the Dodgers to do. They still need a bat, right? They still need somebody in left field. Obviously, all Dodger fans, if you look at like most of the fan pages and everything like that, everybody wants Randy Rosarina. They already made a trade once with the Rays this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reports were on it, but I'm sure they were trying their hardest to get a Rosarina with class.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the Rays are in that mode where they're selling some of their players, I think Randy Rosarina is obviously a bat that you would want in terms of just having that, like, I would say like a guy that's like has that swagger, has that playoff swagger, a guy that can come up big time in the postseason and just has a big time bat when you need it.
Yeah.
Kike Hernandez is still out there. I think he's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
He's a utility guy, kind of like a CT. I don't know. I think there's still a lot of moves to be made out there for the Dodgers. I'm curious to see what they do next because I honestly don't know what. I don't even know what's on the move. I know you guys talked about starting pitching yesterday. In terms of adding, I would say an innings eater. Honestly, somebody that
Yeah.
can kind of, yeah,
I like that. I think the top of like the innings leader list would be a Giolito. We've been talking about it at the station for a while now. I know Mason loves the idea of Giolito, and it's not that you love the I- idea of like his skills and everything. He's not necessarily at the top of his game anymore. At one point with the White Sox, he was borderline all star. Giolito was up there. I mean, the Angels thought he was going to be good enough to bring them to the playoffs this year. Which
yeah,
unfortunately for them, yeah, we saw how that went. But like we've seen with the Dodgers in the past, you can get guys who maybe didn't work out for a team like the Angels, and you
hmm
kind of go through this revitalizing project, this project that
that prior pixie
it's just
dust.
what they do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that prior
Um,
pixie dust. Yeah,
so I guess like to your point, we'll just let Friedman cook. You don't know what's going on in there. Dylan Cease, his name is still um, a name to keep an eye out. I mean, I know with the Yamamoto contract, it would seem like no way, that's impossible. But on a short end deal, it's still possible. Like because of Otani's contract structure, I got to be
yeah.
honest. Almost at this point, anything's possible.
I
Um,
think
it's weird to
I
say,
think
but
they,
even like Bellinger is possible, which I don't think is going to happen.
yeah.
Um, but
As much as Dodgers
just
fans would love that, everybody loves
exactly,
everybody would love Belly to come back.
it would though still technically be possible. The way that
Yeah,
everything the Dodgers have structured this offseason. Again, I don't see that happening, but I'm just saying that it is. And names like that don't shy away from because you've seen these three big names come so far: Glass, Yamamoto, and Shohei. It actually still is possible to get another big fish. So
yeah. There's
um,
still a lot of. I would say there's as much as it's been a big off season. I mean, you look at it from the perspective of they pretty much mailed in the last offseason, right? Their biggest signing was JD Martinez, and obviously he was
Right.
super good for the Dodgers. Right? He was obviously
Yeah.
a
Shout
class
out
act and
JD.
a great bat for them, but they pretty much mailed in the offseason last year to go all in on Shohei, and they got the big fish at the end of the day. But I still think there are some, not I wouldn't say issues, but definitely some things that they can kind of shore up. Muncy at third, he's okay, he's serviceable, but I would say that's a much needed upgrade if possible. Um,
Hmm.
I would say Gavin Lux, you still, if he's going to be at shortstop, you still don't know what that's going to look like. So you have to wait until, that's a whole big thing too. I know there are some shortstops um, in the free agency market that you can possibly go out and get. I don't know. I think they're going to ride with Gavin Lux and see what happens there.
Well,
But
because
like we,
and don't and I just want to point out, and Dodgers fans as well. I'm on the ship of not giving up on Miggy yet. I don't know
oh, Miggy
where
Rowe.
you land on this. Yeah, but Miggy Rowe, as good as he would be as like a trade piece, because a lot of teams still covet that defensive ability because we know his back kind of dropped off. I think in an organization like the Dodgers, where players just seem to figure it out so often, I wouldn't give up on him yet. That guy knows how to get on base, and with a team like Shohei, you want people who can just get on base
Yep.
nonstop. So I would just want to say, don't give up on Miggy
I don't.
Rowe just yet.
I don't think.
If Gavin isn't 100%,
Yeah, I don't think that they will. I think they're going to ride with who they have right now. I don't think they're going to go out. I think like they let go of Ahmed Rosario. I think Tim Anderson's still a free agent. I think there's like still a few pieces. A lot of people, were speculating before the Shohei thing that they wanted Corbin Burns and Willie Adames. I don't
hmm
think that will happen. I think they're going to ride out with Lux and with Miggy Rowe. Like we just talked about, a kind of a innings guy, kind of eat the innings out for the entirety of the season. Because if you look at it, right, and I say this with look at it from the perspective of Yamamoto is coming over, right? He's a potential ace, but also at the same time he hasn't pitched in the MLB, right? There's a
A lot
lot
of
of things
question
that
marks.
yeah, there's a lot of, and there might be growing pains, there might not. We don't know until he steps on the mound. Glass now, as much as he is a frontline starter, I would say a two or a potential ace as well. He has had
Hmm.
injury history, right? So you kind of look at it like that. Walker will be on a innings limitation, um, and Bobby Miller and Emmett Sheehan, like those are really the only two guys that you can kind of like really count on at this in this moment. So on paper it looks great, but I think they still definitely do need to add another frontline starter for sure. Just a guy that they can count on to just start every other, like every 2 3 day or every 3 4 days, right? Just in case, because you just don't know, right? You just don't know with Glasnow's injury history, Bueller being on the innings limit, and you don't even know when you're getting
Hmm.
Bueller back. It doesn't seem like he'll be ready for opening, or I'm not sure if he'll be ready for opening day yet. But
Yeah.
uh,
It's the updates. It's hard to read, especially when you follow Walker and he's so like confident on social
yeah,
media.
yeah,
Um, so there's conflicting things, but and that all has always been the case with Walker. But you know, at the same time, though, Walker is going to be a really good case study
mm,
of obviously he's not at Shohei's level, but in
yeah,
my mind, he'll be a good case study of what the Dodgers can do with someone who has gone through that many surgeries,
uh,
and it would be a good like eye test for what they can do with Shohei when he comes back. That's looking way in the future, but still, that just came to my mind. I was like,
yeah,
this is going to be a nice little, you know, testing
yeah,
period. See what that staff can do. But I mean, Cody, I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out.
yeah. There's still
We're
more
going to be
moves to
doing
be made.
this
Yeah,
exactly, and that's all around the league. So um, teams who are getting mad that the Dodgers are buying a ring, et cetera, all these things I'm hearing. Um, there's still plenty of people out there, just because the Dodgers got maybe the three most notable names, other
I
than
mean,
like the
like, yeah, there's
Soto
still big
trade. I
names at
mean,
that.
this is
Blake
yeah,
Snell's still out there, right? It's like,
exactly the Cy Young winner. I mean,
yeah, there's still moves to be
there's
made out there for other teams. I I think the Dodgers have positioned themselves for sure to. I, on paper, you look at them in the Braves, right? And I'll give respect to the NL champs, the Diamondbacks. I guess right. It's like you look at the Dodgers. I'd stack them up against anybody, but also at the same time, you could have said that the last couple of years, and obviously the Dodgers fell short. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Blue Review. There will be more episodes. We'll try to get maybe once a week, but then again, it might just come on a need basis. If something goes down, we'll be there for you.
Oh,
But we
things will
will
go
try to do
down.
more. Oh, they are not done. Like we said, the holiday season has been a season of giving, and Christmas has come early. Whatever you celebrate has come early. Yamamoto again is a Dodger. That's the big news of the day, of the weekend, and we will get back to you shortly. Of course, I'm Parker Bell alongside Cody Liu. Shout out to LAX. This has been the Blue Review.